皆さんこんにちは、Ali です。Hi everyone, my name is Ali. Welcome back to the channel. As you saw, today we're doing my December study recap. That's right, you guys. This is the last study recap of the year 2024 on this channel, which means that if you haven't seen the previous 11 videos where I recapped what I have studied for each of my languages and recently for my linguistics studying, then I urge you to go and watch those videos if you're interested in knowing what I've been up to with my studying for this entire year 2024. Thank you again so much, you guys, for following me along this whole year, for watching every single one of my study recaps. And without further ado, let's get started on today's study recap. Right, so as per usual, let me put my glasses on and we'll go. So we're gonna start with my December monthly study goals, of course, as usual. I had, again, 3 goals this month. The first one of which was to finish going through my exercise book, Ryugakusei no Nihongo number 2, which was about composition, and I'm happy to say that I did finish this book, so this goal is completed. My second goal was to finish reading my Chugokugo de Chotto ii hanashi book, which was my first book read in Chinese, and I'm very happy to say that I did. To be honest with you, I didn't think that I would make it before the end of the year because I had still quite a few stories to read before would be finished with the book, but I eventually did finish reading the book, so I was really happy. So this goal is also completed. And then finally, the last goal I had was to do my linguistics study recap for the year 2024. So essentially, going through everything that I have studied for linguistics in 2024 and recap all of this in an intelligible manner and, regrouping the things that could be categorized together. And I'm happy to say that I've also done that. And in fact, it felt really good doing it because I finally had sort of a good image of everything I had studied so far. And I've studied way more than I thought I did, in fact, because I was so into it that I didn't realize how much I'd studied already on the topic. So I was really happy to see, visually how much I had studied already. So this was a really good thing for me to do. And I'm happy to say that I've completed this. And so this goal is also completed, which makes it a 100% completion rate for my monthly goals of December. Right, now moving on to my specific Japanese language study recap for the month of December. And we're going to start with the first category, which was active studying. So in December, I did finish going through the Ryugakusei no Nihongo book, like I said, the number 2, which was focused on composition. So I went through quite quickly the last few chapters of this exercise book in December. And I was really happy to see that especially the last few chapters were really useful to me. I went through those chapters with a lot of attention because that was precisely what I wanted to know about, namely how to write a research proposal in Japanese and what to focus on exactly. It's pretty much the same way as, you write it in pretty much the same way as you would write a research proposal in English. However, I really needed to get the equivalent Japanese terms for research proposals. And so that's what this exercise book really gave me and, explain how to formulate the sentences for each part in the research proposal. So that was really helpful, to be honest with you. And this exercise book also gave the same kind of really useful terms and phrases and expressions to be used in short dissertations as well, so shoronbun in Japanese. And so that was really useful as well because that's the kind of thing that I'm doing just for my own practice at the moment. In any case, I need to know how those are structured, and it's really good practice for me anyway. So I was just really happy to go through that in this exercise book. So that book, even though I've finished it, I'll actually keep it in my home library as a reference book to maybe reuse in the future and maybe in a different way. So, go through the book again, especially the last part of the book, at this time through a different lens and maybe to practice even more using the tips that are in the book. So I'll keep the book. This was a 10 out of 10 for me. I love this book. I love this exercise book, and it served exactly the purpose I wanted it to serve. So really happily surprised, and I recommend if you're interested in the topic. Now going to the next category, which is reading immersion. So in Japanese, in December, I have read a total of 6 books, which, I mean, in number, it's not a lot compared to previous months, but it did have a lot of significance, I want to say, because I actually achieved a few different milestones there with my reading immersion in Japanese. So first of all, I mean, going through the list, starting with the least important milestone, but still a milestone, I actually finished reading the entire Ito Junji's premium collection of manga. And so there were 11 volumes in that collection, and I've just finished reading the 11th volume during December. So I was really, really happy to be done with this entire collection. Quite a big milestone. Then a second milestone I reached was to finish reading a non-fiction book, Naze Hataraite Iru to Hon ga Yomenaku Naru no ka by Miyake Kaho. And that one was a non-fiction book about why we tend to stop reading when we work, when we become working adults. And that non-fiction book was a revelation to me almost. It answered lots of questions I had on this topic. It was really about sociological research on reading habits of Japanese people over history. So that was extremely interesting. I gave it a 5-star, and just finishing to read the book was a milestone in itself because it sort of opened my reading horizons for 2025. Now I have a list of 30 books I want to read on this topic in 2025. So we'll see where that takes me. Next milestone, I finished reading 2 staples of Japanese literature, Japanese modern literature. First one being Kitchen by Yoshimoto Banana. I'll probably talk about this book in my reading recap of 2024 because this was absolutely wonderful, an amazing read. I cried so many times while reading this book. It really took me by surprise. I didn't expect it to be that good. And then the second book was Kokoro by Natsume Soseki. Finally, I read Kokoro, so the history with that book was quite deep. I want to say my personal history, because I meant to read this book since pretty much day one of me starting to study Japanese. So this was quite a long time coming, and it took me, in the end, 5 years to read the book. I definitely tried reading it during those 5 years at some points, but then I felt intimidated by the book and I felt like it wasn't the right moment. So finally the right moment came this December 2024, and I'm really happy to say that I finally finished reading this book. I won't talk about it too much today, but of course I loved it. I'll just say that for now. And so finally, the last milestone I reached regarding my Japanese reading immersion in 2024 was to reach 200 books read in Japanese since I've started reading in Japanese. Very big milestone. So it's just very satisfying milestone, full circle moment that I've lived there, a great moment in my journey with Japanese. And finally, the last category for the month of December was my Japanese listening immersion. I was able to do 3 things in particular. So the first one was to be able to watch lectures on linguistics, which were available on YouTube. And so this was my first time watching uni lectures on a topic that I'm actually interested in, which means that I was trying to take notes, and I'm happy to say that I was able to. So this was quite a big milestone, again, in my learning of the language, because this was my first time doing that, just sort of acting as a proper student, I want to say, as if I were attending the lectures in real life. So that was a big one for my listening immersion, and I will actually keep those lectures and watch them probably next year, but I just watched them quickly and took some notes to see if I could actually understand what was said. Then I also watched the entire drama First Love on Netflix. It took me a while to start watching it, but once I started, I couldn't stop. So I binge watched the entire thing pretty fast, like within 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, less than 2 weeks, definitely, just a few days. There were some elements at the end which were like meh. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and it's still like a 5-star rating for me for this show, like in its entirety. And I watched it, if you're curious, I watched it in Japanese, of course, but with subtitles in Japanese, this one, interestingly. I needed the subtitles because there were like some moments with voiceovers, and the actors were reading the voiceover part quite fast, and they were like reading almost like very poetic sentences, so I had trouble understanding what they were saying like exactly. I had doubts, so in the end I ended up putting the subtitles for the entire thing, even though, like, you know, for the main part of the show I actually didn't really need the subtitles because it was mostly dialogues, but for those voiceover parts I definitely needed the subtitles. And then finally in December in Japanese, I enjoyed watching many like business videos, again on the Pivot channel, because those videos are the best ones in my opinion right now for this type of videos. What I can say here is that I've seen in December, I really noticed a huge improvement there compared to like how my listening skills were even at the beginning of this year, 2024. So improvement in the sense that I just understand 100% of what is being said, and now it's just a matter of practicing, taking notes, rephrasing what people are saying in the interviews, and taking my own notes, really, taking memos from the videos. So that will be the next step in my learning, but in any case there is a huge improvement in listening skills that I've noticed. So that's it for my Japanese study recap for December. Now let's move on to Chinese. Alright, for Chinese it's gonna go a bit more quickly, I think, because in fact I haven't done much, especially for the first category. So for active studying is very quick because I haven't touched my HSK3 textbook. So I'm putting on the screen the percentage of completion I'm at the moment in the textbook, because honestly I don't remember right now. I will resume studying with it next year. It's just that in December I wasn't focusing on that. I was really focusing on finishing my book in Chinese, so I wasn't focusing on active studying. And the main active studying I've done was actually done through my speaking practice, so my conversation practice done through the lessons I'm taking with my tutor on Cafe Talk. So in December I've taken 3 lessons, a total of 3, but 2 of them were 1 hour long, so it makes it a total of 2 hours and a half for the month of December. And I'm saying that because until December I was only taking 30-minute lessons, and so from December I've changed that to an hour instead, which means that instead of 30 minutes per week I will now have an hour per week of Chinese lesson with this tutor. And so I've also asked my tutor to make this a regular thing for 2025. So really from now and for the whole of next year, that will probably be the pace at which I take lessons with my tutor. During those lessons in December, we have finished looking at all the pinyin rules. So she's explained to me everything I needed to know about pinyin and how they were transcribed and the rules really surrounding them. And same for the tones. So we've seen all of that, which means that from really the first week of 2025, we're finally going to go into like the meat of those conversation practice lessons, and we're going to start speaking, starting with reading aloud practice together, and it will go gradually, but in 2025 that will be the focus. So yeah, in December we sort of like ended up on all the matters we've been looking at during 2024, all the rules I need to know before I actually start speaking with her. So that was amazing, really. Just again, a very like full circle moment. Very satisfying to finish right before the end of the year. Regarding my reading immersion in Chinese, like I said earlier, I finished reading my first book in Chinese, which was a book in a bilingual format in both Mandarin Chinese and Japanese, with Japanese translations actually of each of the stories, which were like very short stories and meant for language learners. It took me quite a while to read through this book, but I was happy to finish it before the end of the year and thereby actually complete completing one of my yearly goals for Chinese. So I was really happy again that I managed to do that. And in fact, it gave me like such motivation to be done with this book that I also, during December, resumed reading on Chinese, and I found there the Hua Mulan story, and that story really like motivated me to read more. I love the story itself. I love the animation movie, so definitely, you know, I was the target for this story. So I'm not done reading it on Chinese. I'm pacing myself to not read it too fast. So I've read other stories as well, like quick ones, intermediate level still. I've just had like such an enjoyable time with Chinese in December. And lastly, regarding my last category, so my listening immersion practice in Chinese for December, as per usual, I did not miss one single vlog from Vicky Soup's channel. So I've watched all of her vlogs for the month, and they were amazing, and I'm able to understand more and more, and I'm doing vocab extraction using her vlogs. I'm able to pick up on, you know, the words that she commonly uses and the words that she uses the most. So the more I listen to her and her husband and their daughter Kaya, the more I understand what they're saying without even trying. Like, you know, it's become like natural for me to listen to them as if I were in the room with them and like going about their family life with them. So it's really an amazing contact with the language. And with that, that's it for my Chinese language learning for the month of December. So now let's go to the last section of this video, which is about my linguistics study recap. Alright, and last but not least, my linguistics study recap for the month of December. I'm currently going through the Miracles of Human Language course on COURSERA, given by the Leiden University, and the course has a total of 6 modules. And what happened is that in December I went through the 3 core modules of the course because they're really like the meat of the course and actually what I was the most excited to learn about. So it was my introduction to phonology and phonetics, which was module 2, morphology and syntax, which was module 3, and finally pragmatics and semantics, module 4. Oh my god, this last module was amazing. It was like when we reached that module, it was an explosion in my brain. To be honest with you, like this is exactly what I wanted to learn. And I'm so happy that I've got like an entryway to this knowledge finally. So I'm so grateful for this course. Basically, it opened the way for me to learn about these topics even more by myself. So I'm just so excited because I really felt like this was only an introduction and it already, like I said, blew my mind. I want to read about it. I want to know what the latest research is about, and if I can participate to the research, I will be the happiest. And to give you a review so far, I mean, it's no surprise, but I'm loving the course because it's giving me like even more structure than the previous courses. And you know, even though it's really difficult, I'm not gonna lie, it's really difficult to go through because those topics are definitely not easy. I won't call them easy, especially like the topics of phonetics and syntax. That was really hard to go through. A very good, you know, fairly good base of knowledge, in fact. So I'm just overall very satisfied. I'm not done with the course, but I know that actually it will keep on getting better because the last few modules are actually about the topics that I am the most interested in. So it can only go even better from here. I just already know that this course will be a 5-star rating. Like, it's a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, like no question. And guys, it's on that note that we will end today's video because I'm done with the recap of everything I've studied in December. So as you would have guessed, I didn't study much. You know, I did end up achieving a few milestones, but I'd been working on those milestones for months, even years. So it's not like I did everything during the month of December. So really, in December, I took it pretty cool, I want to say, except for linguistics because I fell into a hole. You've seen that in my last video on the channel, which was my weekly study vlog for the month of December. So yeah, I definitely went through a little rabbit hole, but a good one, with my linguistics course. So I did end up like studying a lot for linguistics, but for my language learning, I took it slow. I took the time to do my language learning recaps for 2024. Just a really like peaceful time for me to reflect on the year that just went by and reflect on everything that I had studied during this year. And after I was done with that, I actually spent this week, so week 52 of the year, not doing anything, not doing any studying, I swear. That's also why I'm able to produce the video you're watching today and to upload it this early in the month. Alright, so I think we've covered everything, guys. So what's left for me to do now is just to thank you guys for following me along this whole year. Thanks to all of you who have watched every single one of my study recaps this year, which I produced every single month, and I was very happy to do. I was also extremely happy to see your guys' comments. Every single month you guys shared with me what you were up to with your language learning, and that was a joy to read. I was really happy to see you guys progress, to be enthusiastic about your learning, to study along with me. This was such a great exchange platform for us, so I will definitely be continuing this format on the channel next year. It will maybe take a slightly different shape, but I will definitely maintain this contact that we have together, guys. So thank you again for being such a wonderful community on here. And I will now be leaving you with a little montage of all of the study recaps we've done this year. So I hope you enjoy. And as for me, I will see you next year in a new video. それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。バイバイ。またね。Hi guys! 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about my February study recap. Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. It's Ali and today we're doing my March language study recap. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Hi guys! Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing my April language study recap. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Hi guys! Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do my May study recap. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Today we are doing my June study recap. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about my July monthly study recap. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Today we're doing my August study recap. Thank you for clicking on today's video. And now let's jump straight into my September study recap. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Hi everyone, my name is Ali. Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing my October study recap. 皆さんこんにちは、アリーです。Welcome or welcome back to the channel. That's right, you guys. It is already my November study recap.
Simple, simple, simple minds. I guess we'll take it one